Welcome, Max. How's your summer been so far?
Summer's been good.
Yeah, dude, we're going into the fall real quick here. I mean, summer's gone by quick, so it's been kind of crazy, but yeah. I'm glad you're here today. Let's go over your whole career. Let's start off with how you first got interested in sports and who inspired you.
So, growing up in Hopkinton, it was very kind of pressured almost to play high school sports. Everyone did it. I think everyone I know played at least soccer, but first thing I wanted to do was play basketball. I just played high school basketball. I think third grade was the first year you could start,
Mm-hmm.
and I did all the way until I don't know the end of middle school. Um, so that was definitely my first exposure to sports.
Yeah. What was your first impression of basketball and everything? Were you nervous to try it out, or were you excited?
Um, I had been doing all the biddy ball and stuff when I was young, as much as I could do before I got to the actual age of playing the competitive basketball.
Yeah.
So I was always excited to play, and I honestly saw myself playing it for the rest of my high school career at least, which changed, but I always liked it.
Yeah. That's good. So, what other sports did you take on when you were young?
So at that age, I did soccer up until middle school, and all that was HISA, and I also did Hershey track, which was a little league that George Sable created just as like another HISA sport for youth kids to try out track before they got to middle school.
Yeah. So you knew Mr. Sable for a while before he became your coach.
I did,
All
and
right.
funny enough, the event that I did in Hershey track was like softball throwing, so you throw a ball as far as you can, which kind of correlates to what event I did in high school.
That's cool. So let's get it. When you first started high school, your freshman year, what sports you played?
So my freshman year, I played JV basketball, and I expected to play lacrosse, but spring sports got cut because of COVID, and that would have been my third year of lacrosse. And to be honest, it was a lot of fun, but I never really loved the sport. I kind of just played because my friends played,
Yeah.
and um, so that was my last thing for freshman year. But that kind of gave me a break from lacrosse, and I realized maybe this isn't my thing. So sophomore year, I continued JV basketball, and that spring I switched to track and field with Gabe and Kevin. They both convinced me to go with them.
What was the SL there with track and field that made your decision easier to kind of switch from lacrosse to track and field?
Um, it was just something new. Like I had never really tried that stuff before, and it seemed like a more like a laid back sport. At least I thought it was, and so it just seemed like something. Why not do this? Stay in shape.
Yeah, for sure. Did you at the time expect that you'd be going to college for something like that?
Not at all. I expected to be. I don't even think I thought about college at that time,
Yeah.
but I did not expect any sort of sports scholarship.
Yeah. We were 2 years out, obviously, so
Yeah.
you didn't know. So let's recap basketball a little bit. Those 2 seasons. How'd those seasons go for you? What role did you play? How did the seasons go for the team overall?
So my freshman year, it's a little foggy, but all I remember is we had a very fun team. Um, Most of the upperclassmen, they like Brendan, Jack, Quinn. They were all pulled up to varsity.
Yeah.
So the JV team was good, but we could have been better if we kept those players.
Yeah.
But we had such a fun season. Like I loved all my teammates, and my sophomore year JV was the same. We at some point we pulled. Oh, this might have been freshman year actually. We pulled down Jack, Brendan, Quinn, and at some point Mike. What's his name?
Oberheim.
Yep. And when we did that, we would destroy every team
Yeah.
that came. And we actually won some JV tournament freshman year. I don't know what it was, but it was like some JV
Was it
championship.
they have like holiday tournaments like we had the Capital Area Basketball Classic
No,
this
it was
year?
like end of the season.
Oh, okay.
It was kind of different because it
Oh,
was
gotcha.
COVID. Or no, it was just I don't know. I'm not
That
sure
was
what
the
it was.
year before COVID, but yeah, I know
Yeah,
they
yeah,
used to have a JV tournament
yeah.
prior to that because varsity would have playoffs and JV wouldn't, so they'd have like
Exactly.
their tournament.
Well, we won that, which felt pretty nice. Sophomore year, we did not go as far, but we had fun, and honestly, that's what I really wanted in the sport. I just like to have fun and enjoy basketball, and that was my last year because I felt it got a little too competitive, and a lot of my friends stopped playing, and I just like that was like my sport I played for enjoyment, and I didn't really want to
Yeah,
continue.
I gotcha. So moving on a little bit here, once you first started track and field sophomore year in that spring, what events did you plan to do? What did your coaches suggest? What did you think you were going to be good at?
So, um, my coach sent out a Google form at the beginning of the year because this was like the first track and field season in 2 years, so it was a lot of like fresh stuff because of COVID. So it basically just said what events are you interested in, and like just so he can get a feel for what is popular.
Mm-hmm.
And I had no idea, so I honestly put myself in for the 400 meter, the mile, the hurdles, and maybe long jump. No throws. I did not even think about throws. And I don't know why I thought I was a distance runner. But when it actually started, um, I think I quickly realized I could not run that far. I didn't really know how far 400
Yeah.
meters was. And I kind of just gravitated towards the throws because I had a lot of friends there.
Yeah, so you started throwing there. I mean, did you naturally get good at it pretty quick?
Yeah, so I'd say there were only there were no male throwers that were returning. It was only Elise and Jesse Carney from the females that were returning athletes. So it was me, Alex, and Gabe, and we had never tried this before. So like I threw further than I mean we were all doing it for the first time. So I couldn't really tell if I was any good.
Yeah.
But I mean it all came kind of natural. Like I got the form down at some point, and I could beat some competition, but the competition that year was still coming off COVID, so it was very different. It wasn't like we must have played Kearsarge 7 times. It was
Oh,
very
yeah.
it was the same teams over and
Yeah,
over
because
and
we had
over
like
again.
all the local schedules because like we couldn't travel super far with COVID and everything.
Exactly.
Yeah, you'd see the same team so many times. But yeah. So was that a unique experience with COVID that you think in the end helped you to figure out what you wanted? Do you think if you had played lacrosse freshman year, you would have stuck with it all the way through?
Yeah, I've always thought about that. I think so because I was kind of like, I mean, honestly, I was scared to play lacrosse freshman year just because like freshman going into a sport that like serious, like it's a big thing, and I wasn't the best player, so
Yeah, it's also a super physical sport.
exactly. And like now I'm okay with that, but back then that was not really my thing. And um, I was worried. I was just worried to like be on such a big team like that with like so many expectations, which track and field didn't really have. And so I do think if I played freshman year and I got comfortable and used to being on that team, I probably would have stayed all 4 years. So I guess COVID did like one good thing
Yeah.
for me.
Oh, that's something for sure. So moving on to your junior and senior year, let's start off with junior here. You can recap the sports you played there, and we'll dive into that.
Yeah. So end of sophomore year, I was a little disappointed with how I placed in javelin. I was like one. It was different to qualify for states that year. It was just the top 12, I think, in the division, and I was 13th. So I was really disappointed that I didn't get it. Um, and so, but I really fell in love with the sport that year. I realized like I'm kind of good at this from it being first year, and I like it. And I like the idea that it was like you're as good as you make yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like in practice, if you work hard, you will get better. Like you're not going to get pushed to work hard. You have to do it yourself. And so junior year was the year I finally stopped playing basketball because that was the point where it got a little too competitive for me, and I just didn't really like the sport that much. Right, I didn't like the sport in that sense.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, and so I got into the gym once I got my license, and so I went every single day with some friends, and I really just trained for track and field. And pretty early into junior year, I met Max Rosignol. He went to the same gym, and he was the school record holder prior to me. So his record was 144 feet, and I had thrown 120 something sophomore year. So I met him in the YMCA, and he asked like if I was from Hopkinton and stuff, and we talked, and eventually it came up that I was that I play track and field and I throw javelin. And he asked me, "Are you gonna break my school record?" And I was like, I'm gonna try to." So that year, I'd see him like every other day. We'd train together, we'd talk, and he gave me some tips and some workouts for javelin. So it was like a great like motivation to break his record.
That's really cool. You just happen to meet the guy who holds the school record and is trying to motivate you to do the same thing. He's got the same name.
Yeah, it was really funny, but it was good. It was like we have a very good bond now over it.
Yeah, so when you were working towards that goal, what were like the main lessons you learned along the way and eventually getting there?
Well, I learned that it does not come like very easy. Like it did take a full year of working out to actually be able to do that, and it was also a lot harder than I thought to break that school record. Like it's not just all strength and like time in the gym to be able to throw like that.
Like technique and
Yeah,
everything.
and technique is huge. Um, but yeah, and I'm glad I had him like beside me, kind of rooting for me. That really that helped. It also just kind of like one more person wanted me to break school record. It gave me a really good like
Motivation.
confidence. Yeah.
Yeah, so when did you officially break it?
So first track meet junior year. I remember throwing in practice and measuring it out, and obviously it doesn't count, but I was like very confident I could break it. And then our first track meet at Sanborn or Sanberton, I don't know, and I was up against the number one seed for Division 3. No, it was an invitational meet, so it was all divisions.
Oh, okay.
So he was Division 1, but number one seed in the state. And I remember he threw like 175 feet,
Jeez.
and he actually like broke something in his arm and was out for the rest of the season. And I threw 150 something, 155 I think, and like it was just a battle for second place after he threw that. But I remember I just broke school record, and I had like my friends like Gabe and Elise there, and it was so happy. I was so happy when that happened, but because I'd been working for it for so long, it felt really good.
I mean, hard work pays off. That's definitely something you can take away. And also with the whole lacrosse situation, going and play track and field, don't be afraid to try new things.
Yeah, exactly.
So overall, towards the end of that spring, what else did you add to it?
Well, once I broke school record, I kind of realized like, what do I work for now? You know, like that was my goal. So after that, it got to the point where I realized I'm competing with like the best javelin throwers in the state right now, and I talked to some, and they're going to college for javelin.
Yeah.
So I was like, maybe I can do it too. So I thought I'm just gonna try and get my numbers up and like my placement high. And I know I ended that kid that threw the 175 or something like that. Although he injured his arm, he was committed to UNH. That was where I wanted to go, and he actually took my spot.
Oh.
Which stinks. But he was out for the rest of the season, so it was me and one other kid. I can't remember where he was from, but I'm pretty sure he's going to some large college for throws as well. I can't remember which one, but he was the only one in New Hampshire that beat me at the Meet of Champions for all divisions. So I placed second, and he placed first. But he was a senior, I was a junior, and for my second year throwing, I felt really good. I could care less. I threw just about 50 meters in that meet, which is like such a good milestone.
For sure. Moving on to senior year, you started playing football senior year. Why'd you decide to do that?
So I'd always, the football boys, they always try so hard to get people to play.
Yeah.
And I'd always been a little too scared, or like I wasn't in the best of shape. And senior year came around, and I thought, I'm never going to be able to do this again. And I'm like in the best shape of my life. And so like, what's stopping me? But also, track and field's not a very team sport. It's very self-oriented. And I kind of missed that in like basketball and stuff. I missed that bond you get with your team. And so I figured I should just do it. It also keep me in good shape, which it did. But it was like the most fun I'd ever had. I mean, the bond I created with those boys working like all summer and then that season, and you're with them every single day, training together every single day, like that's like an unreal connection. It's hard to recreate that outside of football.
Yeah, for sure. There's something special about football.
Yeah.
So you started playing football. Did you have an idea of what position you wanted to play?
I knew I was fast. We did our, I mean, I know I was pretty quick from track and field, but we did our like 40-yard dash tests at the beginning of this the spring before the fall or football season, so the end of junior year. And I ran the fastest on the team. It was a 4.6, and that felt pretty nice. So I just wanted to be a running back or a wide receiver, something where I could run, catch the ball, or run with the ball. I wasn't very picky, and coach knew that I could run, so I wasn't really worried about where he put me.
So you played a lot of wide receiver this year.
So I played everything this year.
That's true.
On defense, I was cornerback, which is fair. That's a pretty good position for me. It was pretty tough. It's really like, it's such an important position, and you get a lot of blame if you mess up. It kind of sucks, but it was fun, and I'm glad I got to play starting defense. But yeah, offense, I switched up wide receiver, fullback, tailback, tight end. Did just about everything on offense, but I was happy for that because I think I'd like to say I got all 4 years of high school football crammed into 1 year.
Kind of seems like you were a big utility player and everything.
Yeah, I definitely was, but I'm glad that I could help the team out like that. It made me happy to be important, you know.
Mm-hmm. So what are you gonna do if you're at college and Bill Belichick texts you and says that you want to come to the NFL, you want to come to the Patriots?
I mean, I've always thought about like what if my path was football instead of track and field? Just like what if it was a different sport?
Mm-hmm.
I would love to play football. It's so much fun. I mean, if I wanted to, I would definitely have to start working at it sooner, but
Yeah.
you never know. Maybe I'll walk on senior year.
Well, you got a college sport that you're doing, and not a lot of people can say that.
It's true.
So let's get into that. You track and field. You started to say, hey, maybe I can do something with this for college after all. What was the process like of finding a school for you?
So it was before I really applied to any school, I reached out to the track coaches for each school. So I reached out to UNH, UMaine, because my sister went there, and I just figured why not. Stonehill, Merrimack, UConn, and URI. And I think that's all. UMaine, I heard back from the coach, and he was interested, but I did not want to go that far for college. I kind of just did it just because I got into UMaine really early on. That's why I sent that out. And the coach also, he was like talking to me, but he wasn't exactly like obsessed with me, if you know what I mean. UConn, their standards were so high. They have some of the best javelin throwers. Like, I'm not upset that I didn't hear back. URI, I actually don't think I sent him an email. But Stonehill and Merrimack kicked off really fast. They're both Division I now, so they're really expanding the roster, and you could tell they really wanted players. Stonehill, Coach Delgado showed me a lot of love really early on, which was what I wanted. The Merrimack coach was a little iffy. I could tell he was kind of doubting my experiences. But I set up a day in the life of Stonehill College student. So I went to Stonehill on a school day, and I literally just went to classes, and then I went to practice after school just to see exactly what I'd be expecting if I went there. And the team was so welcoming, and the coach was super nice, and I'm like, I feel like I should go here.
Yeah, for sure. That's pretty cool. That's unique. Not everybody does that.
Yeah,
so.
It was really cool. I got the offer to do that at Merrimack as well, but I liked Stonehill a lot more. I just wanted to go there.
Yeah, so you found a good fit for you. What are you hoping to accomplish in terms of sports there?
I mean, I'd love to break the school record there just because that's kind of my thing now. But I just want to be like a well-rounded athlete. This year in track, I really focused on developing my skills in every throw throwing event, not just javelin. So I really just want to score the team a lot of points, be like a helpful player.
For sure. So, what about academically? You can tell everybody what your major is.
So I'm majoring in electrical engineering, and that might change right now, but all I know is the first 3 years, all the classes are very similar, so I can kind of change it anytime.
Why electrical engineering?
Um, it's it's kind of confusing, the Stonehill engineering program. As of right now, it's going to be 3 years at Stonehill and 2 years at Notre Dame, and I get my degree from Notre Dame.
Okay.
But it depends. I can either get my electrical engineering degree or mechanical engineering. It's between those two from Notre Dame, or I stay all 4 years at Stonehill and just get the electrical engineering degree from Stonehill. It all depends what I want to do. But also to the Notre Dame program, it's you have to maintain like a 3.6 GPA.
Yeah.
So we'll see. It's kind of if I can do that or not.
And also athletically, Notre Dame is a huge school.
Yeah. Also, yeah, I'd want to play my senior year of track at Stonehill, unless I could somehow get to play at Notre Dame. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Playing football for the Irish in your senior year.
That would be nice.
All right. So, what are your goals 5, 10 years down the line? Where do you see yourself?
Well, the thing with track and field is after college, it's so difficult to continue. All those athletes, there's a big like scandal about how those athletes are unpaid and they make no money, any professional track and field athlete. And like the next step from college is the Olympics, and that's a crazy step. Like going from like just like a casual college sport to a world division, I guess, because you're playing against other countries.
Yeah. The highest level.
Yeah, but I mean, it totally depends how I do in college. But if I can do really well, like how I want to, I would love to become an Olympic athlete, just to say that I was one. Like
Yeah.
I don't even have to get pulled to the Olympics. I could just become an Olympic athlete, work a side job, probably something under my degree, and then just train. And I think that would just be so cool, such a good experience.
That'd be awesome.
Because like, how many Olympic athletes do you know? Like that's got to be the coolest thing to flex.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, good luck, Max. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you, Drew. Thanks for having me.
Yep.